The Detroit Mechanix hosting Chicago Wildfire. Tale of two teams. The Detroit Mechanix still trying to pick up their first win of the season, and perhaps this weather could aid them as the high-flying Chicago Wildfire come in with a 6-4-1 record. That's right, one tie on the year. We'll talk a little bit more about that in just a moment. But the Chicago Wildfire coming into a victory. Sally Cat jump, well, I should say jump cat is currently, if the playoffs start, the Wildfire would be looking in with the Alley Cats in third place and the Pittsburgh Thunderbirds in second. That tie against Minnesota back on May the 15th could really end up costing the Chicago Wildfire team. For those asking, weather was not exceptional. The owners of the teams decided that one should be a tie. Ended 12-12. Postponed, and that's the way things go for Chicago. They find themselves in a situation with just 3 games remaining after today, or rather 3 games remaining with today's game, where they must win the season. Detroit coming in with an 0-10. The wind gusts 31 miles per hour. Be blowing with at Bishop Full Catholic School, and it's not going to make it easy for any up. Speed of this wind today, 22. Plays a big part. Underway, the pole at the best. Being native was the 48. Helton, folks, that's gonna happen. Play. Some perfection of the game. Scott Solity is in the zone. Really want to advantage. From that suit over the goon to the with sloppy rain wind. 1 degrees right now in Madison. We just mentioned that question by Scott stepping up to play. It's a big story to this team throughout the year, of course. Just returning against the Madison Radicals, come up with that just fantastic catch in the end up on Sports on ESPN. We'll see if he can do today. Off right now for the Chicago Wildfire, and as see can't big left. The game, put the ball back. I'll go Wildfire right now. On break, back down. They use no pun intended. Just one off. Zuko. This to the Detroit Mechanix have the with on DT Mechanix up round. It's ready to pick up. The hair from all the Pereira, excuse me, I didn't have a big difference this time. Take bit of a it's second score of the day. Go up our team. Those are goals. For our winds blowing north across this field. Stand ready to accept the pull from Brett Matzuk. We're going to see some zone, perhaps. Zone where answer midway all year round for the Chicago Wildfire. The whole team goes on the University of Michigan. Do it across. Make it will stay that way as the Detroit can't get thrown into that conversation year after year for MVP of the league, three-time All-A, particularly for the Chicago Wildfire team out of the Chicago area to yell, and everyone in the line gives it back. And it's the pole. Right back at the Mechanix, Colin Gapper. Time and time again, actually gave University this time and has a lot of great insight on the game of Ultimate. If you ever right now for Chicago, go with that. Received and grabbed by knee to the end zone. It's gonna be tough all day long. And of course, you'll hear him called Goose. Mother. And so there you have nickname. Of course, he's UDL since started out with movie. Wildfire sends one up. So complete the hack last week, I should say, or 2 weeks. Channing Watson, who was the big name for the Detroit Mechanix, the Thunderbirds down score game today. Detroit right now, one having remaining in quarter one here. A lot of history to the shot. The owner a college for thing and has done some phenomenal things. Back in 2012, the Mechanix played in the Pontiac Sanders. Like with obvious reasons, they no longer home for those who on that. So they moved things here to Foley Stadium and continue with Alex Hunt. Would be Chicago call. So Chris Ashbrook University with Shield coach for Wildfire team. The reasons Wildfire team has time again, commercials out there. You will see on the left knee injury, was out for a number of weeks. Still some serious damages. Now a couple of weeks, 5 goals, one of the top scorers in the Wildfire. Complete Now use those lamps. This is where you're gonna see something nice. Drops it to a man off. And play for these deep Jason sends this one to Roy Gallagher. Is up 3 to 35 seconds left to play. Don't expect a scoring affair. This may be the one drawback when you tap in. Things can change so much. We mentioned hour going down to the back. Detroit Mechanix into the face. Wildfire there, and the Detroit Mechanix on the black jersey. When you're trying to battle that win, it's going to be 6 scores on the same end of the defensive on board. Yeah, expect to see quite a bit here. This one. Body. Detroit Mechanix team, certainly a veteran, has been with them since their inaugural season. One of the regional 8 teams in the AUDL. Joseph Basser will be the man in the middle. They'll pick up the played back to Luke. Midfield having a for the big. There's the win. Look at that. And then Elton. So this back for that again. For any of you watching this here on DT, this took downwind points. And once again, it's Brett back to that one. So get ready for this game. Mentioned it's going to be take advantage of the most mistakes. Going to get that opportunity to come away with win. Barrero. Well, first matter who has the disc, that win. Carry. Still stay up. Force put on by Jaeger to Gramado. Before that push. Get to this one. Still fixed up. And Wildfire take their first of the half. So both teams have you out. Now this is a Wildfire start for this one. This is the only game going on right now in the AUDL. Coming up later today. Expect to apologize for the difficult. Back with you here on DETmechanics.com is the Mechanix hosting the Chicago Wildfire. Wildfire and the Mechanix knotted up piece. All the scores have come. The other that's Chicago Wildfire. He's going to see the double team. Looking for the back. He's going to forehand flick up with I'm getting all my Thompson. Got another stall. That's the AUDL is a great touch on the efficient in the stalls. Fast count called anymore. I know that drive play not to get that stall. It seems someone always fast count called the Fang Chan throw. Unfortunately, a missed opportunity. That's Mike Shields who dropped it. Uncharacteristic. Alright. A little zone ends up dropped because of this win. Hubbard, the intended receiver, that will be intercepted in the Chicago Wild. Back the sideline. Got a score in this game looking for this. Instead, he decides to give it back to his main Atsuka. Forward. On this one. Now with the Chicago Wildfire, including Bob Lou. Also, they've got a few players who will be joining the team for Sunday's game, but aren't here in this one. High forward, picked up by AJ. You have a Falcon. Come up with it this time. Mechanix dodge a bullet on that one. Eric Hubbard line. Typically a guy who's going to so for a hunt, it will be by Suka. Time since we scored on the board. In fact, minutes since the last score registered. Minute and 12 seconds left to play quarter number one. The point here for the Chicago Wildfire. Zuka to the far side. Shield looking. Scoring the first. Chicago Wildfire. That's a big with seconds remaining. I know it sounds a bit absurd to think that it could be on the field for a 5 point, but with this win, things would have gone back the other way. They'll have the win to their back, so now another forced for an up winner here with 50 over 54 seconds. Take it into quarter number two, but again, you're going to have Chicago going down to try to come up with a score, but you certainly don't want to give up. This out if that's possible. 4-3, the score right now. Wildfire, 54 seconds remaining. This one back towards the back. Set to try up wins. On the field, Eric Hubbard near sideline, 44 seconds remaining. Luke Rodney again. He's got a man back to dump and Murphy. they get back. Win to start. Seconds. I don't want to say this much score, but it's absolutely right. To take what is awful wins to try to find up winner. You'll hear it said time. To an impact across the playing a man down to himself. It certainly isn't easy. Into the end zone, and then a big score right there. Great mechanic. It wasn't actually a break mark throw either. I'm not sure what exactly he was saying to his team. And score. It's not hard. Win. It's plenty. You may check. Assists this year at 35 with the 2 in the game. Is thrown in the end zone. Florida comes and hangs in with a little bit of they score with the 6 set. One game. But it's on DT Mechanix. Back on DT Cam. East Toronto taking on Ryan. In that area, number 8. Orioles supposed to be postponed. Shows you the weather around. Second have been scored. Doing so with about 20 seconds. Quarter number 1 at advantage. Now Detroit's got to come under their own, but first they must get game and all their silver minute. For a little help. A Wildfire to come up with deck, and when you take so this season, ask accomplished time and time again. So deep is this roster, although it's not gigantic. Today, playing with a short bench, typically they don't have on the field. They realize it time and time again. Just take a look right now. For Chicago and A.J. Nelson, who's got 25 goals this season. But then you can split hairs. Dan Miller with 16 this year for Chicago. Bob Lou with 10, 22 from Jonathan Helton. Jack Shea with 11 this year. The list goes on and on. Mike Shield with a number of guys who can produce. They put this one down the way. Ball Barrel throws it over the head. Looking for sail over the head. We're near. Started double. Started on him and make sure no open throw, and the man doing that tremendous job defensively for the Chicago Wildfire after Scott Silverstein found his way into the end zone 3 times to start the game for Mechanix. A note product. And the recipient, again, playing a big part in that one. Stadium today, Madison Heights. Hard looking for more in the end zone. First called upon. Saldini up to the plate, and this time home run 6-5 of the Chicago Wildfire. Listen, be as entertaining again. A lot of stop over the disc. Imagine trying to catch Wakefield RAD. That's what the their way up when it is going all over the place. May not be able to see get out and you can but not an easy task whatsoever. Set on the defense. Helton, and it took no time. A.J. Nelson gets this in the end zone, coming up with for his second. What the Chicago Wildfire can do. Now, the good news today, right now, rain has let up just a bit, sprinkling all where we are here in Michigan. Thanks to finally let these teams on the field smash to 5 goals. Now an opportunity Mechanix. Midfield. Look again. Field, and this time perhaps past midfield now. 22 Gus. And if you've ever tried for that it's not going to go too perfect. It's not going real far. There's the around it. AJ. That was 4 find himself with the dish again. Fellow handler right past him, Joseph Besser, and it's to the ground. Throw, he's not back to Wazdiger Malver. Went down to an E. Get ready. Disneyland. Be fine. Who will come out on the other end first? That's the question. Sends this one in the field first. Fellow team AJ nowhere to go. Injured for a season, back for the Wildfire, trying to help them on. Take a look. Looking, realizing that. Back Luka. If anyone decides to put a go here, gotta be a couple of stall counts here time and time again, but the Wildfire now back and back. But tremendous handling by the last 5 seconds. Zuka just shot the end zone. He got nothing help. A.J. Nelson does. There for the backup is Gallagher, who comes at the score up in the back of the end zone. One of those instances where something to help you out. That is the skin up here for the Chicago Wildfire. You can't necessarily. And a heavy favorite, folks. Chicago can get the D here and get that second with 22 miles at their back. Certainly had Detroit, who had the weather a lot in today's game, but Chicago right now. Detroit Mechanix have made. Detroit. Fire. So I mentioned, a lot easier for Chicago to come up with that D and score than it was for Detroit to work their way down the field. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but that score going to Cullen second here for the Chicago Wildfire. Gets the point for the Wildfire. Out. Outside looking in. Half game there. And then Pittsburgh to head into that game. Midwest. That Indy matchup. Week of the season. Week number is Pittsburgh and Indy meet up, and that could very well. Chicago. Wait one more time, and then they will. Be sure that Detroit isn't going. Assistant coach. To replace him. The Detroit Mechanix since 2012. Chicago Wildfire coming in 2003, second year. And what they could make postseason run. Team that knows they're close. They need this win opportunity. One off, and again at the far sideline. Let's score one more time. Hat trick. You won't see these on the plays of the week. The Chicago Wildfire doing a job on the. Mullen with 3 scores. With 1. And then picks up. Scott Soto-Santi trying to read this one on 4th, defending him. Tremendous job. Field stand there using his body to pull out the big man. Like it's with that play. into the air. And the Detroit Mechanics have to be happy with the devastating effort there. Eric Covert. A lot of reasons to give up on that one. Simply let it go. Hope one of your teammates comes down. Up his way just into the end zone. Climbs the ladder. Brings this into the fourth. 4-goal difference here. Chicago. Got Soto Santi and Ball here. And upwind point. The Detroit is fourth. Score. Detroit's out back. They come with the eagle back. Soto. Back. One another. Opportunity for Mechanic. The effort keeping this one. AJ now. And for the Chicago Wildfire. For Chicago City. And make it a 5-game once again. That was just absolutely outstanding. Up with that. Chicago doesn't get perhaps a seat to the Detroit Mechanics. And they're able to get that disc into the end zone. Score. Up the win score of the game. Easiest days to play on the field. Three minutes and 16 remaining, half number 1. Next up, Joseph Basser. Back on the field. A bit of a right inch. Sporting those green cleats. Back to Luke Roddy, 2 players who have helped develop this Detroit Mechanics team. They'll play this between one another again. As Murphy stands facing the dust. This one intercepted by Neil Phelps. The Chicago Wildfire then played into the middle. Gallagher, 3 scores today. Build it off. And that would be impressive at the track. Jordan would have had a problem keeping. What's on the mark now? Down the action. Santi looking for the field. Go. Good defense by Wildfire. Continue to play. Bit of a half zone defense. You can see back behind. Got a 3 wide. Colin Gappert, one of his interviews of the season, at the Wildfire that opening loss the play by 53 yard field. Normal style defense. Just get picked up by the wind and taking the other. Almost looked a bit like Drew Brees back in the day with the San Diego Chargers when he hit the ground on that right shoulder and ended up dislocating. The case here for Grimaldo Barrero, the Colombian native. And when he hit the ground, that right hand was still an act of any kind. Basketball, ultimate. Anything from just well. Still favoring that right. Field just 27 remaining. Half going to come on. Columbia product. Talked about the growth of this game. Danny Hunt, his brother Alex Hunt on the field. That is compared to a number of the Carolinas, the NC State young developed and spread the sport. Far north is Vancouver. The border now. Find its way into the nations. Make up Canada and the United States. Fergus just could not hold. And as I said, that one out of bounds. The Wildfire will take over. Matt Zuka. His center hand. All for that one. Throws the hammer into the back of the end zone and great. Oh, not for sure that foot had been dragged by Colin Gappert. Now they've got the field is for as he reached the field, but Colin Gappert rewarded now 6-goal lead for the Chicago Fire. It is fun again. See what seconds left to play. And this doesn't work out for him as the disc as we see have to follow. And Detroit will have the 2 1 will do half number 1. 12-6, the Chicago Wildfire lead. Been very strong as well for Chicago. Still in this game is Scott Soto for the Detroit. Been able to play and mark this one. Quick break. Score. Mechanix.com. Matt Douglas with you. A few technical difficulties. And we are running. Silverman after turn by the Mechanix. See out there. You can see the on the near sideline is temperature 60 mark right at the side. Pulls that one down to Phelps. Strelika playing this disc for Shepard. On field, Shepard season. Disc with the we're gonna go with the big time from now with that the way of does. Chicago who will next attempt, and I don't know the end this time. Space his teammate, Hawaii-born product, throws this one into the back of Brian Yeager, I believe. He'll take the D either way. The block was Max Shepard, preventing the throw. Back. And then off the scoreboard until very moment. Throw all the way around as the gonna points. And half in quarter number 3. His favorite one finally knocked down to the ground. Coach his team, and you'll see that he's out. You may also develop in the game. Look at it's around. What a block around. He knocks it in there, sort of gets by, and the Chicago Wildfire had to their quarter 3. Baccarat with his second goal of the game. Now with 12 goals on the year. Again, this team doesn't have all teams in the AUDL, but Chicago coming to this game. They've got a double header this week. They'll play Pittsburgh tomorrow. They'll add a couple tomorrow. Well, as just had the final for the Detroit Mechanix. We're on the road. And Chicago final of the 2 meetings. In fact, the only team in the Midwest games left, as they will take on Detroit one more time as we got end of the try. He covers that time around with taking that one. Shield on the far line. Back to Matsuka. With Wildfire. Just the home game. Howard. Great Lakes for the faster. They have to get both for next. The hand shield. Ford Aitson with the disc, battling injury. They battled back and the fourth of the day. Trick for Rummelhart. He scores this season. Late games here for the Detroit Mechanix. Late in games. The Mechanix have struggled. In the first half. Back into the game, of course, the loss of a hand. Something players wanted to keep. Talk about it now. Take his opportunity. Not hold on to it. This is what McCain. Sandberg. Longer is. Philadelphia. Knocked away. And all Chicago Wildfire is fifth of the game. Back to the big Wildfire team. Yep. Picking up the and talk about that if you've ever been. It's been it's got to make him feel a little bit. Start playing. It's a lot of fun. Involved in rowing. Went to the University of said, hey, you pick one for the ultimate. Seems to have been good. Build the AU guys that you love to hear from on the side of club teams leaves right here. And Madison, Detroit Mechanix trying University of Michigan, the Japanese for the disc. Be right there at 7 seconds. Onto it for as long as he can. You know what? This is as good as anything on an upwind. I don't care. Ben Murphy. Third up day. He completes the hat trick. Come up with their 5th upwind score of the day. Now they're like this game. Goes just stay on DC. Wind blowing across the field, 22 miles per hour consistently. 33 seconds left to play in quarter number 3. And again, an 8-point lead for Chicago. My goodness, it's blowing across this field. We almost lost this game. Doing everything they're supposed to and blocking the wind. Nasty today. They're in trouble. The last doors facility or going for the end zone, but there is seconds left on the clock. Chicago for free. Much of a chance this end zone. Unless something magical happens. Silverman. Communication with only 6 left. All I had to do was hold on to this and go in. Alright, so that will do it for number 3 side for about 90 seconds. Put 12 back up on the clock and see if Detroit can't fight out of this 8-goal lead. 18-10. It's Chicago leading DMX right here on Detroit.
I heard that somebody bit pretty hard at the gym the other day. Go or don't.
Just 1 quarter left to play. It's 12 minutes. Gets put back up on the scoreboard. The Chicago leading the Detroit Mechanix 18-10. Leading scorer so far for Chicago. Colin Gabbard, he's found his way into the end zone 5 different occasions. Right behind him is Alex Rummelhart with 4 scores on the day. Leading scorer for the Detroit Mechanix. Got Soto Santi. He's been in the end zone 4 times. Eric Hubbard right behind him with the hat trick at 3. It will be the Chicago Wildfire receiving the pull. Detroit Mechanix set the duties and send this one down the field. Going to set this one off. That is Alex Hunt, Danny Hunt also on the field. 2 brothers from Youngstown. Making the long trip over with a number of other Youngstown products. Play for the Detroit Mechanix. Brett Madzuka picks up the disc. Resets it in the middle. Tim Fergus, Madzuka, 2 handlers. Set for the Wildfire, going with a vertical stack up. Shield gets grabbed. AJ Nelson. Hear these names. Almost like the Blackhawks. You forget how many weapons this Wildfire team has. Trying to make the season. Head coach Chris Asher. His own, but injuries have certainly set back this Wildfire team. A couple of close calls this year. You can talk about that. Falling shot at Madison last week. Final score 3-20 before losing 26-16, and they're misery. Nelson watches that disc fall right behind him, and you can hear the wind here through the microphone. How bad it is. One window open here in the booth, but I mean, that wind picked up. And we have an injury on the field. Some bad news. As we see Joseph Besser, Mechanix Santi, been for him, and that's the same player that injured previously in a practice for the game against the Madison Radicals, and not someone who wants to lose right now. Their final 3 games after this. Hank Chen receives the pass. Big throw down the field from Alex Hunt looking for his brother Danny. And instead, this one will to the turf by Alex Rummelhart. 4 scores on the day, and now a couple of go along with it. Wildfire plays. Great throw to AJ Gallup getting hit. 27 now on the season for Nelson. A player you could be talking about leading scorer here in the AUDL if it weren't for the fact the large majority of the trying to come back and get back on board as much as he possibly can. Has done a good job today here against Detroit last week, of course. Sports Center, top 10. Out against Madison Radicals, Matt Swain, the man guarding him. You talk about being posterized, and that was certainly an occasion where you can't do anything. AJ Nelson made the D downfield, then got past Matt Swain, and of course made that dive against the Madison Radicals in 6-20. Close calls have been the story of the year here. That bull's not even. Ryan Yates, Detroit Mechanix will get back on the board. Andrew Lucarati. Gosh, Sato. Bush cutting to the right side. He's looked off. Scott Soto Santi. Lucarati. Into the end zone once more. Think better. Brian Bush on the reset. Looking for the dump to Ben Murphy. Finds it. Crossfield, Yeager there. That'll be Luke Rock. He receives the disc. Side and go crossfield in the end zone 4 foot. It'll be knocked away by Pregame. And the Chicago Wildfire turn and go up. Boy, this wind really blowing right now. Wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour, but I'd say it's going every bit of that. Here at just outside the press booth. Madzuka. I like a forward to Silverman. double team. Yeager and Lucarati trying to knock that disc free. A stall call. It's Silverman couldn't get rid of it any time. Here in the AUDL 7 seconds. Disc, no shot clock. That's long. You must throw it to a teammate within 7 seconds. Okay with that one. He continues to add to his total. Brings the Midwest Division, obviously a very tight one this year. You can see that in just about every division right now in the AU. But with the Madison Radicals playing as dominantly Pittsburgh Thunderbirds a couple weeks ago, Madison has clinched a playoff spot at 11-1. 3 games left for them to play, but they are in. Now they can lose that. Pittsburgh is able to come away with the victories they need. Tomorrow they'll play Chicago. It's the they can't do it against Minnesota. To look at it on paper, Indy should win. Knock them off. Pittsburgh more times. They really still wreak havoc here in the Midwest Division. A couple of victories against these. For his 3rd assist of the day. Why not? He finds Rory 4th score of the day. Has an assist to go along with that. I think I'm maybe a little bit off. Of course, those stats unofficial. I think Matt Zuka may have a few more than just 4 assists here in this game. I'll have to take a look at that and find it in just a moment. But Gallagher, or not. Stop. Think about it. Detroit taking on Pittsburgh next week. They've got one more game against. They'll look for a win, certainly. 1,000 Lakes. And Chicago teams. If Detroit could pick up a victory against Pittsburgh, but honestly, end their seasons. Pittsburgh stands in the West League right now, but they'll play Indy at the end of the year. That game could very well be for a playoff position. Chicago could work. 3. Playoff. End up. Rather. And throws it over the head of Brian Yeager. One couldn't get to it. Matt's Rossfield 27 for Chicago Wildfire. Matt Douglas with you today. This one live on DTMechanics.com. Shield with the fake. Sets it to Fergus. Gallagher throws it to Sato. Coming down with his first interception of the day. Back to Andrew Lucarai. We have a stoppage in play. The wing continues to pick up. A little contact. Gashi Sato will march up 10 yards. We'll forward. To the head of Matsuka. Got Soto Santi on the sideline. Goes for the hammer. It's going to flow. To the right. 10-yard shot. Pass will float. And then on the throw right. He may have gotten hit by it's absolutely caught. I think the officials here a little more across. Force a forward pass back. I think this time from Ben Murphy. Or smart stuff. It was a foul. Shield. Ethan keeps it alive, and then goes for the deep throw to Helt, and this one going to float. And comes down into the hands of Scott Soto Santi with the interception. Detroit Mechanix fans standing tall for that one, like the play up their typical handler. Now turned cutter in the last couple of games due to a few absences. Kevin Coulter out with the Mechanix. And Del Real out for today's matchup as well. Leading scores and assist guys for this Mechanix team. It certainly has to be felt right now, and you wonder at those two guys back might have that today. This is the one game that, regardless of how good a team is, and wins like this, it really evens the playing field, and you have to take advantage of the other team's mistakes. Chicago, better record today, 6-4-1. Strong go of things. Timeout will be called by the Chicago Wildfire so that they can reset. Get a new offense out on the field. 5-13 to play. Chicago will set it up just a bit differently for themselves. Matsuka, it'll be interesting to see with him tomorrow as the team heads to Pittsburgh if he'll stick around. Play for the Wildfire Detroit Mechanix. They'll rest themselves after this cold, windy affair. Can't get ready for a trip to Pittsburgh week with a victory over Pittsburgh Thunder. We can't take the rest. No games going on right now. The AUDL, in fact, this is the first game of the weekend. Current standings, just take a look at those here before we get back into play in the West. If the playoff were to start today, top three teams. Teams to the AUDL. Times set to be brought back in. Matt Shepard in the South, just Atlanta. Rain starting to come down sideways. Field, Danny. Place forward. Joseph Basser. Just a finger more. Matsuka will take over possession for the Chicago Wildfire. 4 minutes and 30 seconds remaining here. Alex Straka to Eric Copper away with the interception over AJ Nelson on a nice day. Love to see that matchup. Eric Copper, AJ Nelson, the wind is sort of taken away. And he's going to go to the end zone as he looks for Santi, pardon me. Intercept by Matsu. Shepard. And Matsuka. Passer on the sideline. Upper back. 3-4 left to play. I don't know if the players can even look down the field, but it's coming in with the rain. That has got to be pelting the faces right now. Chicago Wildfire. We see the deep throw sent by Max Shepard. Wind's going to help it out. It is tipped away by Eric Hubbard, but continued to float nearly, giving Rory Gallagher a chance at what would have been his part of the game. Bang Chen will take over possession for the Detroit Mechanix, a Brooklyn native. Making his way to Detroit, play a little ultimate. He's one down the field. The sole purpose of that, just get that disc all the way down the field. Come up, don't have to play 2 minutes and seconds. It's an interesting strategy. And then you got defensive players that Fang Chen is. Turn that just a little bit. The game of rugby, time and time, it's a ultimate games. That's it. Mechanix. That's good stuck on the front. With the hammer. Wildfire. You see that's overthrow that with a high flick. Yeah. Notre Dame products. The Silverman. Gappard on the sideline now faces a double team. That's Danny Hunt defending and getting tied on him like white on rice. Little like those. The foul cards will be matched up, marched off. Field. We're calling Gappard and company start this disc. Just a minute and 40 seconds with 5 minutes on the clock. Been able to score 6. Physical player. Uses elbows. Seems to welcome the contact. That's with the diving layout. Hear the whistle blow. Timeout was called by Chicago on that. So Matsuka got to that disc, kept it alive. I couldn't tell. He dove for that one, but was able to keep it alive. Then quickly from the side, out was called. Wildfire will discuss their offensive strategy and see if they can't put one more upwinder on the board. The interesting thing is, when we talk about sportsmanship and running up scores, does come into play as a tiebreak in the season. Now the Wildfire face that. So this will be an instance where you may see them try and run this score a bit to try and create a buffer in that point differential. Was currently 10 points down of the Alley Cats in point differential category. Indy with that a half game up. Brett Matsuka with the disc. You know, look at the website. You may not see that in the standings, but that record for Chicago 6-4-1. Again, puts them half game behind Indy, 7-3 on the year. That's all that is separating Chicago from Indy. Half the week off into the end zone. Matsuka finds his target as the Wildfire put yet another goal on the board, making it a 10-point game. Makes it 9-point difference. That was Mike Shee. Got the grab with 9 points being difference. Now Chicago. A point. And would understand. Look here. See what exactly. Let me read this weekend in AUDL. This is just the first of a handful of games played today. Week number 12. Who will pick it up for the Detroit Mechanix. Indianapolis with the week off. I'll go tomorrow against Pittsburgh, so an opportunity to add up to the Alley Cat. Pardon me, the Alley Cats do play on Sunday against Minute. Both have that opportunity to put Chicago and you'll play in position. So this game is so important. Now Chicago will have one point at the end of the season. It looks like the Wildfire are going to come today. Just 37 seconds. Matsuka's going to pick this up. He's got 37 seconds to try and add more points onto the board and try and keep things going. Yeah. On this one, Wildfire trying to call for the well, that will not happen. That counts in the game of Ultimate. So that's how today's game is going to end 21-11. A 10-point victory for the Chicago Wildfire. Now find their way to 7-4-1. They will jump a half game ahead of Indianapolis for the final playoff spot in the Midwest League. Detroit Mechanix fall to 0-11 on the season after the loss. Leading scorers in Chicago, Colin finished with 5 scores. Warwick Gallagher had leading the way for the Hard with 4 as well. Leading scorer day 4, Detroit's Santi would finish the game with 5. Eric Hubbard had the hat trick. Joseph Best and Murphy, Mark Saldini, all finishing the day with 1. One more time, the Wildfire come away with 3. They advance to 7-4-1 in the Midwest. The 21-11 victory. Detroit Mechanix fall to 0-11 for Detroit. They will hit the road now. We won't have these games for you here on DTMechanics.com, but of course you can find the results and the recaps right here on the website. They take on Pittsburgh next Friday, and we'll play 17th on the road at Minnesota. Take a day off and then finish up the season on July the 19th against the Chicago Wildfire. Wildfire with just 2 games. 1 tomorrow against the Pittsburgh Thunderbirds. A win there would help them work their way into that final playoff spot, or they'll wrap up the season against Detroit. Playoffs still not set in the Midwest. Find out what happens at the end. It's been a blast calling games with you here today on DTMechanics.com. That is our final broadcast. 21-11, the Wild match. See you next year here on DTMechanics.com.